Here we go. All right, we have a special guest. We have Cami on the podcast. This was her third time going to a live professional pickleball event, so we're going to get her thoughts on that. Um, but first, I just want to and welcome Spencer. Sorry, I didn't mean to ignore you.
Sure.
Thank,
No
thanks
worries.
for thanks for hopping on. So this podcast, I just wanted to, and we talked about this a little bit last time. One of the things that we want to try to do with this podcast is get people that play pickleball but don't really watch pickleball and don't quite understand the pro game and the differences between MLP, PPA, APP. There's a lot of acronyms there, and uh, and why do we explain things maybe more in depth than some of your normal pickleball podcasts? And just a quick anecdote from the last MLP event. I was over on the sideline and there was a big match and there was a bunch of teenagers who were there. Like obviously their parents brought them in or something. And as they were walking out, they were all excited. They're like, "Man, I've never seen live pickleball before. That was awesome." Another guy says he's like, "I got the game ball," and he was all excited. And then another time there was a younger kid who was saying like, "Now how many points does this thing go to?" And he was talking about the Dream Breaker. So my goal is just to kind of explain a little bit more in depth as to some of the intricacies or some of the things you may not know about. Now, if you're a longtime fan of Pro Pickleball, uh, please forgive me for Matt splaining things, but that means you should probably recommend this podcast to someone who doesn't watch as much as you do. And then what you can do is just look for where I mess up and then critique us. That's totally fine. So, all right. So let's get into a little bit of what happened at MLP in Salt Lake. This was the very last regular season tournament, so everybody had to finish up. And one of the things that we want to talk about, first of all, to be honest, it wasn't super exciting from like a playoff standpoint. Only there were four teams that were trying to get the last two spots. So it's not like it was super exciting like Dallas and St. Louis, where the top teams were fighting for the top spot. This was the bottom teams fighting for the bottom spots. And Utah and Miami clinched 10 and 9. So Utah would be 9, Miami is 10. And it's actually pretty impressive for Miami because they just recently traded away one of their best players, Noe Cliff, to the New Jersey Fives. And they also had a brand new Japanese player, Yuta Funazimu. Really nice guy. I got to meet him afterwards. And apparently, he's the first Japanese player to ever compete and get wins in Major League Pickleball. So that was kind of cool. Very nice guy. So let's talk a little bit about the games. Spencer, you got to watch a little bit yesterday. What did you think about watching on TV versus in the arena? What did you think?
Yeah, so I've never actually been to MLP in person, just PPA, but yeah, watching on TV, not gonna lie, was a little difficult. Um it's much more interesting in person. So
Yeah,
I still enjoyed it and it was like nice to have on a Sunday afternoon, especially when like what else am I gonna do pretty much? But yeah, it was a little difficult to follow, but it was still exciting, I would say.
when you say difficult to follow, do you mean like the players, the actual action, or what do you mean?
Yeah, I think it's just possibly too because I'm kind of like new to this as well. But yeah, I don't know like all the players yet, or even I just barely learned all the teams like last week. So I think as I get to pick like my favorite players, like you do in other sports, as you get to know those, that I'll have more of like a connection to that. But at least as of yesterday, I wasn't quite there yet at
And
that level.
it's a little different than the PPA for sure because you just have a team atmosphere. It's a little bit different. I actually like it, the team atmosphere. I like the PPA as well. All right, Cami, what did you think? This is your third time, I think, at a professional event. You've been to one PPA and this is your second MLP, right?
Yep.
Okay, we want to get all your thoughts as a person that was there live. Let me back up a second here. Cami is not a huge pickleball fan. She doesn't really like to play it. She doesn't really like to watch it. She thinks I'm crazy for having this podcast, which is fine. But she does support me and go to some pickleball tournaments with me. So
Some.
some three. Okay. So
Well, every day.
what are your thoughts?
So we went to the Pickler last year for MLP, and it was seemed darker. So I mentioned to Matt that the lighting seemed a lot brighter this year. So I really liked the lighting was brighter. It felt really dark last year. And I don't know if that's just my memory, but it was brighter.
So let me jump in there because the funny thing about that, for those that aren't aware, Colin Johns and Ben Johns were famous for leaving a tournament because the indoor facility was too dark. Ben Johns has some eye issues and he has some difficulty seeing, but both Ben and Colin, who are their brothers, they both quit the tournament, just walked out, and it was a really bad look. And but they actually own a company where they consult about lighting and pickleball facilities. So the funny thing is, Colin Johns brought his little lumens inspector on the court, and Jimmy Miller, who's another podcaster for King of the Court, which is a great podcast if you guys want to check that out. He joked around and said, like, "Hey, what are you checking the light on this for? You're playing the challenger. You're not playing on the main court." Just as joking around, and so of course I had to go buy a lumens detector and do my own measuring there and see what it was. And but it was just funny that you mentioned that it was brighter because this was kind of a controversy, and just it was pretty funny that you actually noticed that.
Yeah, it was,
Is that the whole interaction that you had on Twitter, Matt,
Yeah, I don't
with
know if
your
you saw
Lumen
that on.
thing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you guys
or
follow us,
X or whatever.
yeah, Poachers Pod on Twitter. I try to post some funny things and some clips too as well while we're there. So make sure you follow us on
Real
X,
quick too,
Twitter.
just jumping in with that. I noticed on TV that it felt dark. So it's interesting that you guys thought it was light because to me, watching on TV, I felt it was a little darker. But
I
I
agree. It
do.
does look darker on TV.
It does look darker on TV, agreed. Because I like watched some of the clips or watched them on TV when Matt was there and I wasn't. And it did seem darker, but in person it was actually light, bright, I would say.
For sure. Okay, cool. What else did you think about
I think that I enjoy the Dream Breaker the best. Um, but it kind of has a dumb name. Because I want to sing Dream Breaker instead of Dreamweaver. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I like rally scoring. I think it's exciting. I
Yeah,
like,
so
do
let's explain that really quick. So in MLP,
you want me to
you play
explain
the.
it or you
Yeah, sure, go for it. Yeah, go for it.
can Cami explain?
You can Cami explain, please.
Okay. In MLP, they play four games. One game is the women's, the second game is the men's. The third game are mixed doubles, and the fourth game's mixed doubles. So if they go 2-2, they go to a dream breaker.
Dream.
Dream, dream, dream. And so they go to a dream breaker and you play for 4 points. It's singles, it's not doubles, which I prefer. I love singles better than doubles. And you score 4 points. You can score if you don't have the ball or if it's not your serve. You score on every possession or
Yeah, every serve.
Okay.
Somebody
Every
scores.
serve scores, and then you have to win by 8. You have to win by 2 at 21, and you have to win serving. So I just think it because doubles you kind of get lulled to like it's really exciting sometimes, but sometimes you just like get lulled and singles. I just like singles better. So I really like the Dream Breaker. I
I concur. I like singles better too.
Yeah, Matt thinks I'm crazy, and I like rally scoring. I think it's just a fun way to like not have to watch somebody for a whole match if you don't if that they're not your favorite. So
So
yeah.
and maybe it's because I play more that I like doubles, and I'm not very good at singles because it's too much running around. But I do agree, especially watching in person singles, I think is a lot better than on TV. The speed and the athleticism, I think, translates a little bit easier in person. But I'm actually going to test myself. I think Wednesday is the PPA singles starts, so they play just so everyone knows the PPA is more like a tennis tournament where they have singles and they have gender doubles and then mixed doubles, I think, on Saturday. So every day is a different set of players. And so I'm going to watch singles and see if I enjoy it any better this time. But I
You
do
will.
think the Dream Breaker is really cool because, again, you only play 4 points, and then the next person on your team goes and plays 4 points. The next person on your team plays, anyway, so it's kind of exciting. Anyway, all right, cool. What else did you think?
Um, I was confused. I've been to 3 events, but I was confused why everyone kept like pointing their finger like this. And then I realized that that was the sign for in.
For
And
out. This is for out.
no,
Uh,
this is out.
that's out, and this is in.
Okay. So,
When the finger out is,
yep,
that means
yep,
out.
okay. Okay, finger out is out. Okay. So I kept thinking, huh, if I played this sport, I would be flipping everyone off every time it was out. So I just think maybe they need to change their hand signal. So it's not, it's like one finger away from being offensive. But I would just flip everyone off because I'd say, you're out. Sorry. And look at my finger. That's it. But yeah,
So,
so
so
I feel like the hand that I feel like they need to change the one finger
to a different signal.
to a different signal because it's so close to the second signal. It's so close to flipping someone off, which
So
is
it's
fine. So, or you just have it flip them
I feel
off.
like, yeah, I feel like if you're getting like super competitive and really irritated, it would be
Yeah,
really easy to
it's
just
so e
to put the middle finger up.
funny,
I
fun.
I was doing it watching, like that was out, and then I like flip it off and like yeah. So I was doing it watching, and I'm just a casual fan. So
So it's
I
funny that you say that because that's actually been a little bit of a controversy. People will be playing and then they'll lose the point or the match and then they'll flip somebody off. And in fact, Zane Navertil, who does a great podcast as well, had just put on like some glasses and a big hat and was saying he was going bird watching. He wants to report every time that somebody flips the bird. So it's really funny that you picked up on the lighting and the flipping off thing without really knowing those two things were kind of going on.
yeah.
So
And the last thing I think that, well, there's two more things. One thing, everyone, I know there's been a controversy about yelling. Um, the coaches on some of the opposing teams, not every coach, but some of the coaches were extremely, what is that word, demonstrative and loud, and I feel rude, more so than the players screaming on the court. So if they want to have like no yelling, I would like have that start with maybe the coaches because I feel like it's more acceptable for the player on the court to be yelling, like or whatever. But for like the trash talk to come from the coach was a little off-putting and actually made me not like a couple of teams.
Interesting. Because I was watching it on TV and like I didn't really hear any of like the yelling. And I know we talked about on the last podcast, like the controversy around the yelling, but is it like full on yelling or is it kind of like tennis grunts?
It's
It's
like
not
I
it's not grunts when they hit. It's when they win the point.
they go
They'll go, yeah. They'll say yeah or something like that. And
yeah.
it'll be pretty loud, but
Yeah.
obviously there's no mics on the court that are necessarily there to pick it up. If that makes sense.
But like when
Yeah.
there's a couple of controversial plays that like the crowd didn't know what was going on and like the players didn't quite know what was going on, it felt like, but the coach, one of the coaches knew, and the coach was just like I felt like they were taunting, but it probably wasn't just because I was irritated with that team. But it just felt like he was like, "You're such an idiot." Ha ha ha. Like, I don't know. That's how it felt. So I don't know. I want them to be able to yell. I just don't know if you're on the bench if you should be able to yell. That's I think on the court it makes sense. It's a natural like excitement, grunt of I don't know. But
I
or
like that. Technical foul if you yell from the bench like
yeah,
basketball.
yeah, exactly. Like it's like don't go on the court. You're like in NBA, everyone has rules, but like I feel like the coach shouldn't be able to. The bench should not be able to because one team totally did and the other team totally didn't. The other team is my new favorite team.
Speaking of favorite teams,
Yep.
tell us what is important to you in the name of a team.
It's significance to the area of food that it's from.
Okay, so tell us your favorite new
Okay.
team.
Okay, so just really fast, in minor league baseball, there's a team in Montgomery, Alabama. They're called the Montgomery Biscuits.
Tampa
Their
Bay Rays affiliate.
yeah, their little mascot is a biscuit
With a
with a
pat
Yeah,
of
with a
butter.
pat of
pat
butter
of
for
butter
his
for a
tongue.
tongue.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it is the cutest. I don't know. I think every sport needs to have a food logo or a food mascot.
At least an
So
alternate, right?
at least an alternate for like, yeah, like not every, obviously, you don't want like the Utah Jello, but like, but like just to have the food is the food, or it just makes it fun and cute. And even though they're like it's super competitive, it's just like a fun little.
Yeah, Cami almost bought a Chicago Slice shirt just because she liked the logo of the deep dish slice pizza.
Oh my gosh, he's so cute. He has the biggest eyes, and he's like, "Hmm?" Oh, so cute. Yeah,
If they
agreed.
don't, like you said though, if they don't all do food names, they should at least do alternates like these minor league teams do. I can't remember where they're from, but there's the udder tuggers with
Oh
like a
no.
cow and a big udder. Like
That's
that one's
awesome.
awesome. The San Antonio Missions, like the AA team in San Antonio, they did the flying chanclas because like your Mexican abuela throws the sandal at you. So that
Yeah,
was like their
oh,
that
that's
was their
awesome.
alternate. So like that
Yeah,
would be super fun to
I
see.
just think it's fun. Alternates are fun. I don't know. It just kind of like broadens the. I don't know.
And Spencer, you were saying your wife liked the squeeze, like with the
Yeah,
orange
she
on
did
there.
like this the little squeeze logo. Yeah, she was like, "What is the fives?" I'm like, "I don't really know," but
Five
she liked
boroughs
The
she
fives are the
definitely liked the
clowns.
squeeze.
or the five. Yeah,
The fives they're kind of called the clowns. It's for the five boroughs, I believe,
Oh, that makes sense.
or the owner's favorite number or something weird. I really don't
I
know. We
think
have
it's the
to.
owner's favorite number,
Yeah, it's
but
kind of.
it's just not as fun.
But they have a clown mascot. It's interesting. I don't
It's
know.
not
It's
food.
weird. It's not food
Anyway,
though,
I feel like it needs to be. They have to have an alternate that's like something like just whimsical, I
or
guess.
local to the area or something.
Yeah.
Speaking of local to the area, Spencer, you tell us about the brand new team in MLP.
Oh yes, brand new team. I actually like caught up on this and saw it on social media. So the Palm Beach Royals are going to be the next team in MLP. Six teams in Florida. That seems like a bit much, concentrated in one area, but yeah, okay. I get it. I guess it's like sunny all the time. It's easy to play pickleball outdoors. So um
Yeah, what do you think
I don't
about
know
that?
what it,
Six out of 18 teams are in Florida. Any thoughts on that, Cami or Spencer?
I think it's yeah,
How many
I
teams
get the
does
outdoor.
California have?
The
Oh yeah,
Black
that's a good
Bears,
question.
Bay Area Breakers, those are both not premier teams. Who else? If you're looking, Spence, you can
Let's see, Premier Pickleball League for those teams.
for MLP. Yeah.
I see SoCal Hard Eights,
Okay.
Los Angeles Mad Drops.
Oh, that Mad Drops. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. It looks like
So
those are the only two, at least at the premier level, that are in California.
Well, I just know California. Yeah, I feel like I feel like that's a lot of teams for one location.
yeah. So apparently, a lot of the players live in that area. Okay, let me. So I agree. It is a little excessive. However, up until recently, you play these tournaments in different cities. And only really the last few tournaments have been like where there's a home field advantage. When the Utah Black Diamonds played, the crowd was a lot louder, more signs, more energy. They did also root for anybody that was from Utah. So Callie Jo Smith plays for the Chicago Slice. She's from Utah. Lindsay Newman, I think, also resides in Utah. She was a sub that played. So people would cheer the local people, even if they weren't on the Utah
Okay.
team. But I mean, six. So I guess what I'm saying is only recently has like St. Louis, Dallas, and I guess Utah had kind of a home field advantage. Um, they do hold the tournaments in those cities, but up until recently, like I said, it hasn't been a huge home field advantage to play in Florida if you're the Florida Smash. Um, but that might change. So again, six in one area seems like a lot to me.
Yeah,
But
and
I don't.
I'm looking at like all the teams across the premier level and the challenger level, and they seem like pretty spread out in like markets that you would expect a professional franchise to be. So I think they did a good job with that. But yeah, that seems like a lot in Florida. Also, MLP should put a team in St. George because we've got tons of
Oh,
people who play pickleball
yes,
down there.
agree. Like St. George, like it makes sense to have one there.
I
Be kind of
I
fun.
it would be fun. Yeah, and they do have a great showing for the PPA tournament down there. Pickleball is huge down there, Utah in general. So, okay, cool. Let's see
I
what do
will
we got.
say, yeah,
Go
with
ahead.
the Palm Beach stuff, change the name though.
Palm
Agree.
Beach,
Royals, eh.
the Royals.
Where
I
are
also
the
see the
Royals?
I also see the logo here in the notes, and I'm like, yeah, the logo's not great either.
The logo, Cami, is a shield with some palm trees on
Oh,
one side, and then
what does
like a
that have to do
pickleball
with
paddle and with a
It
cute
looks
crown.
very like
Soccer,
a soccer crest. Yeah.
yeah,
no
for sure.
bars? No.
Hey, at least they're not called the Palm. the Palm Beach Pickleball Club or Palm Beach Pickleball Team.
No, they should be
I
called like the
hate
Palm
that.
Beach Sand. That would be the best.
Sand.
Yeah,
Sand dollars. They should be the Palm Beach Sand dollars.
yeah. The Palm Beach Sand Sunburns or something like I don't know anything. Yeah, I don't know.
Palm Beach tan.
The
Yeah,
Palm.
dude, that'd be awesome. Yeah, just something like yeah. They I think that's the Royals. That's dumb. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we got a couple more things to cover here. We talked a little bit about the crowd. Again, just to recap, Miami and Utah were the two teams that ended up taking the last two spots. So let me explain a little bit about how what's going to happen next. This week, there's the PPA in Bristol, Tennessee. Again, that's not the MLP. However, the MLP playoffs initial round is the week after. And what happens is the teams 7 through 10 play one game. So one game, like Cami was explaining, to five, best of five with the Dream Breaker in there. They play one game, and so the seventh seed gets to select their opponent. So the seventh seed, who is who? Spencer, is it the Orlando Slice? No, I should have
Let's
this up.
see. I have the standings right here. Standings. One, two,
The
three. I gotta
Ranchers,
count it.
the
One, two,
Ranchers.
three, four, five, six. Yes, the Texas Ranchers.
Okay, so
Oh,
the
the
Texas
Jolly
Ranchers,
Ranchers.
the Jolly Ranchers, Cami calls them the Texas Jolly Ranchers. See, everything has to be a food, right?
Yes.
Okay, they get a pick between Miami or Utah because Miami is 10 and Utah is number 9. And then the eighth picks whoever 7 doesn't pick. And who is 8? Is that
That's Orlando. Yeah.
Orlando, the Orlando Squeeze. So most people think it will be the Squeeze and the Black Diamonds, and that the the Ranchers, the Jolly Ranchers, will play the Miami Pickleball Club. What do you guys think of? Oh, sorry. Let me. Then at that point, the remaining 8 teams would then go to a best of 3. So best of 3 of 5. Does that make sense? They're not playing just one game to, best of 5. They're playing best of 3 of those. Is
I
that
have a
is that too
question.
confusing? Yeah, go ahead.
They play so in MLP they play best of five, right? With the Dream
Right,
Break.
with the Dreammaker, yes.
But what if they only play one game? What do they play? Mixed doubles?
No,
Or
no,
is
they play the women, the men, the mixed doubles, but they only play that once, and then the Dreambreaker if they need it. Only for 7 and 8 against 9 and 10.
got it.
Okay,
So it's like
then that's
one
one
match.
match, one match.
There you
One
go.
Then it's
Yeah.
match.
then
Got
it's
it. Got
best of 3 matches
God.
for the
Okay, I
remaining
understand
seeds.
now. I
Yeah,
understand now.
and then just so you know, on the second round, the highest seed, so the Shock gets to the first pick of who they want to play out of who's left, right? Let's say 9 and 10 win, they'll reseed to like 7 and 8 or whatever. But then the Shock gets to pick first, and then Dallas gets to pick second, and so on. What do you guys think about the picking seeds rather than just a traditional like you're first, you play the 16th, or you play the 8th, or whoever it is? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because for a second there I was like, oh, this sounds exactly like the NBA play-in tournament, like because seven's going to be versus 10, and it's like a one-off game thing.
Hmm.
But being able to pick your opponents is certainly something. But I guess like that rewards you for your success in the regular season. So I don't
I
see too much of an issue.
What's kind of cool though about it is you could get some bulletin board material, right? So let's say the Squeeze say, you know what, we're gonna beat no, sorry, it wouldn't be Squeeze, it'd be the Ranchers. Let's say the Ranchers picks Utah, just because they're a higher seed, or lower seed, I should say. Is that going to put some bulletin board material for Utah to say like, oh, they think they can beat us? Like they're not going to pick the worst team, they're going to pick us. Like we'll show them. There's a slight bit of intrigue there, yeah.
I think it's an interesting. I think it's interesting, and since pickleball is so new, that they can kind of do whatever they want. I think it's an
Right.
interesting way to do the playoffs. Because I don't know, it's just different. And you can pick like, oh, you know what? We're not going to pick the worst team. We're going to pick the best team, and we'll show everyone that we're the like it. I guess it just I don't know.
And they do that through the entire play. So they'll do the initial play-in tournament. They'll do the best of 3 matches for the remaining 8 teams in San Diego. Yeah, San Diego. Not this week, next week. And then no, I don't think it's till November or October. I can't remember. Um, They play the semifinals, and again they get it in New York. It's going to be in Central Park, which is kind of cool. It must be in October then. I don't know. Anyway, we'll get to it when we'll preview that. But that the top seed doesn't get top remaining seed gets to pick theirs again. So it does add a little intrigue. So in theory, you could say, hey, I don't want to play Ben Johns, the Mad Drops team, because we want to avoid him till the last bit. Maybe somebody else can knock him off. So there is a little bit of intrigue there. I just curious what your thoughts are. But I agree that since they're so new, it's
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 kind of interesting. At
yeah.
least it's something clever, I guess.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely different. I mean, most sports are, 1v8 or 3v6 or whatever. So it's interesting to see just not tradition, I guess, from a new sport. They're trying to kind of break that tradition mold of all the other sports that we're used to, which I'm sure some people enjoy, and I'm sure some people are wondering why they're doing that.
Yeah, okay. Got another question for you because a couple of other things that were interesting about the tournament is the ranchers. Christian Alshon was out. I don't know if he was training or hurt or something. Nobody really knows. But Wyatt Stone substituted in for him, and he played unbelievable. He had like this amazing Dreambaker shot where he actually fell down on his butt after hitting it and like celebrating from his backside. Um, so it was really cool to see him. And actually, there people are like, "Huh, should he play for Alshon in the finals or not?" And Alshon's an unbelievable player, so I don't know what'll happen. But it also, what I'm saying is, it gives some people an opportunity to play. So each MLP team has 6 players, 3 men, 3 women. But typically, the 2 main starters play for both men and the women, and the extra player most of the time rides the bench. Very few times do they actually put somebody in if everybody's available to play. The five, so, but for example, the fives put Annalie Waters on the bench on Sunday because they'd already claimed their seed. They're just going to give her some well-deserved rest. Cami's not a huge fan. Uh, but anyway,
You don't you don't like load management in pickleball, Cammy? What?
Load management is stupid everywhere. You can't play your sport, you can't play your sport.
okay, I love it. So, but my question for you guys is, and this did give some opportunities. So, for example, Grayson Golden got to play for the Orlando Squeeze, and he played unbelievable. And everyone's like, "Man, this guy's fantastic." Now, other part of this is this league is very top heavy. The Shock, the Fives, the Flash, Columbus Sliders, LA Mad Drops, all those teams basically are like they probably have like an 80% win percentage against the bottom of the teams. And this is the year they added that extra player. So that means there's less, in theory, less talent to go around, if that makes sense. So curious what you think about having that sub that's kind of permanently on your team but can't doesn't even really play. And then we have an expansion team and we're gonna have another 6 players that are taken. Is that gonna water down the league and make it so it's still top heavy? Any thoughts?
I don't think it'll be. I mean, yeah, like you mentioned, it is kind of top heavy at the moment, but I don't see a problem with there being a sub kind of a player. I mean, obviously, if you're going to have an injury or something, then you're going to have to get a replacement. But I did actually find that interesting yesterday, finding out that there was like 6 players on a team, but like one or two of them never play. I was like, well,
And some of them don't
that's
even
kind of interesting.
some of them don't even travel to the game.
Yeah, that's just yeah, that's definitely something. Like obviously, you see guys ride the bench in other sports, but
but they can't tap in. Like so the problem is once you have to give your lineup the night before to the other team. So once you say these 4 people are playing, you can't substitute anyone in unless there's an injury. So I think I'd like to see them be able to just jump in at any time. Not maybe not during midpoint, but like, oh, the men's team, this guy didn't play very well. Let's pop the other guy in for the mixed match. You know what I mean? I think that'd be kind of an interesting way to do things. Keep people on their toes, right? Anyway,
yeah,
just
or
a
maybe
thought.
you could have like a I don't know, like a team A and a team B type kind of thing, like depending on the tournament. Like this guy played last time, we throw this guy in this time because they're all professional pickleball players, so they're all going to be good at what they do. At least that's the hope, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think let me just wrap this up. I think what's cool about the MLP, and I know there's some people that don't like it, which is fine. The problem I have with the PPA is the same players play with the same players. So Anna Lee Waters always plays with Ben Johns. Anna Lee Waters now always plays with Anna Bright. So it's like the 2 best. So you can almost guarantee they're going to be in the finals. There's not a lot of drama or intrigue around the top seeds. But with MLP, because you're drafted and signed, you're going to play with somebody totally different that you would never play with, and it kind of allows other people to show like to kind of show their talent. Because let's just imagine you got somebody who's kind of mid tier in the PPA, and he can't really get like a better player to play with him, for lack of a better example. But in the MLP, he's playing with, somebody who's in the top 10, let's say, and he's like, "Oh man, this guy's actually really good." And that's kind of what happened with Wyatt Stone this weekend, and with Grayson Golden, and I mean, actually Eric Onsens has kind of come on board as well, and been way better. So anyway, any thoughts on that? Like what the difference is between the MLP and PPA, or do you have a preference?
I like the MLP better, um, because I don't like people just playing with the best person they can play with. Um, I like it kind of, I mean, they're all professionals, but like NBA players don't get to pick their 11 teammates they want to play with. So like,
It depends on which player
well, it
you are.
depends on who you are.
If you're LeBron, you
Yeah,
get to pick whoever you want to play
okay.
with.
But just say you don't get
You're
to pick everyone you play with. So I think it's a more interesting experience to watch people that like aren't necessarily best friends playing together.
Right.
I
And
don't, it just it's more exciting. I feel like, oh yeah, they actually don't like each other, but they're, I don't know.
yeah, and there's also players, at least one that I can think of, that plays for the Fives. Now his name just escaped me, which is great. That he doesn't even play on the PPA because he only plays on the APP, which is a different pro circuit. But he does play for the MLP, so he never really gets a chance to even prove himself against the quote unquote best in the PPA. But he does. It's Wheelhouse is his name. Sorry. He does get to prove himself when he's on the fives. So it's kind of interesting. He kind of, and I think he kind of plays with a chip on his shoulder.
Oh,
So
I totally would. Like, no, like, and especially say like you are good enough to be on the team, but like you're not the best player, so the girl that is on your team won't play with you. But
right.
like, I don't know. I don't know.
Cool. Well, a couple last things. One thing that was just quickly on the challenger side, the California Black Bears, they actually had a game that mattered on Sunday, and if they won, I think if they won and in a Dream Breaker, they would tie the DC Pickleball Club or team or whatever they are, and then they would win by tiebreaker. But they ended up beating them 3-1, so they didn't have to go to Dream Breaker, and they got the 3 seed. It's the same thing for them. They actually get a pick. That's a big deal because they get to pick whoever they want to play, and they're going to pick my favorite team, which is the Florida Smash, my favorite challenger team, just because I like Kason Campbell. He's my guy. That's the very first guy I ever saw play. I mean, he's the guy with the crazy hat
The
that
hat
is like
guy,
half done.
I love
Or
that guy.
yeah, he's a cool guy. He's like 18 years old. I think when I saw him play, he was like 16 or 17, in St. George. And he's just a cool young guy. And his sister plays for the Hard Eight. She's like 15, so they've got a legacy family. Anyway, they're going to play the Smash because the Smash are not good. They're the worst team. So it was a big deal for them to actually, whoever won between DC and California, they got to be able to pick who they want, and they're of course going to pick the Florida Smash because that's an easier path for them. So that was a big deal. And then I got one last kind of interesting thing that this, if you guys listened all the way to the end, this is going to be really pay off for you. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed. It's hard to tell sometimes what the score is and who should be on the left, who should be on the right, who should be serving. Um, and I was like, man, the refs do a really good job of this. They're always like correcting him, like, no, no, Anna, it's your serve, or oh, Will, it's your serve on the right side or whatever. And I didn't really know this, but I kept seeing people put like a little orange band, kind of like those just a little bracelet around their hand, or they put it on their leg. Some ladies and guys would put it in their shoelaces, and there's just this little orange band, and then sometimes the ref would go take it away from them and give it back to them, and I'm like, what is going on here? And then it finally dawned on me when I saw a left-handed player who's always going to play on the left. They give that orange band to whoever's going to start on the left, so that the refs know if they have an orange band on and it's odd, where they should be. And if the score is even, here's where they should be. And it finally dawned on me when I saw somebody who the woman who had played before had the orange band, and the ref came over and like grabbed it back from her, like, hey, you can't have this because a left-handed player is always going to have that because he's always going to play on the left. So a little bit of trivia for you. If you see the little orange band on somebody's leg or in their shoelaces or on their arm, that means they're starting on the left, and that's how they keep track of where somebody is. And I actually thought to myself, we should probably do that just in rec league because we're always forgetting the score, always forgetting what place we are. And
Yeah, it's like you think it shouldn't be hard, but after you play like 2 points, you're like,
who
what's this?
served? Did I serve
I
that?
don't know. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, everybody check out the PPA this weekend coming up. It'll be on Pickleball TV. Go get it. I strongly recommend it. Give us your feedback. We'd love to hear what you guys think. And if Matt's playing or Cammy's playing too much, Cammy, tell me what you have. One more thing.
I have one more thing. Ignorowicz is one of my favorite players.
He's the guy who bounces all over the place. Spencer, I don't know if you've seen him. He's for the
Have you seen
slice.
him, Spencer? He
And
bounces.
he
He's never
bounces.
stopped bouncing. So I started thinking about alternate jobs he could do when his pickleball career is over. And I was going to share like one of them or two.
Yes, sure.
He could make James Bond's martinis.
He could. He could. Just hand them to him, right?
Yeah, because it's shaken, not stirred. Yeah.
Correct.
He could make good scrambled eggs.
He could. He bounces all the time, and it's funny because he's like, I don't know why I do it, but I just do it.
Oh my gosh, he bounces, but he doesn't bounce when he serves. It's crazy. But anyway, that's all.
Yeah, but he's really fun to watch. He's exciting. All right. Hey, thanks for being on, Spencer and Cammy. Appreciate it. Thanks to Deja Vega for letting us put the music, use their music. And we'll catch you next time on the Poachers Pickleball podcast.